Hi there, welcome to the YouTube channel, and today's commander I'm looking at from the Murders of Markov Manor is Krenko, Baron of Tin Street. Yeah, we've got a new Goblin version of Krenko, which means we have to do something around goblins and artifacts. Oh well, that's a shame, isn't it? Because who doesn't like playing a nice simple deck where you just get to beat down with goblins every so often? So, this is what today's deck is all going to be about, hopefully. But it's worth going through it. So it's 2 in a red for a 3/3 version of Krenko. It's got haste, which is nice, and we can tap it and sacrifice an artifact to put +1/+1 counter on each goblin we control. And then whenever an artifact is put into the graveyard from the battlefield, you may pay red. If you do, create a 1/1 red goblin creature token. It gains haste until the end of turn. Yeah, okay then, we can do that. No problem at all. So this is how I've built the deck for this, and it's just fun today. It's not a serious deck. It's going to be a very, I would give it something around about a power level 4, power level 5 rating. But you can see me play on stream. So, down below in the description, come and follow me on Twitch over there. Come and, hopefully you have hit the subscribe button because you're here for this today. So I'm hoping you've hit the subscribe button. It should have appeared down here somewhere now. Please do so. Help me out. 340 as I record this. So here we go. The land base is very simple. We've got lands, we've got lots of mountains, we have things that do things for mountains like Valakut, and then we've got unclaimed territory, secluded courtyard, because, might as well have them in just to name goblins and have a bit of fun. A couple of things I want to point out, because one of the comments I got the other day on one of the videos was about sacklands. So I'm just going to use Scalding Tarn here at the bottom. People saying, isn't it, how can you have these in a mono red deck and so on and so forth? The reason for it is, for those who don't know, is that because the sacklands do not have the mana symbol on them and they say mountain or island, you can play them in a mono-coloured deck. So Scalding Tarn's here, and I've also got in Arid Mesa and Bloodstained Mired, so I can just go and find mountains. That's all they're here for. Yes, if you want to be a purist, don't do it. You can just play Evolving Wilds, that's here as well, and Terramorphic Expanse, and so on and so forth. But the Mesa, the Maya, and the other one that I've now forgotten the name of, the Tarn, are all very good, so you might as well have them in. I've also got in, just as a point of view, the Streets of Capenna common lands that lets go and gain a life and search for mountains. They're all in as well. We have one of each of them in. And then Castle Embereth, that just to point it out. Creatures you control get +1/+0, and occasionally you do need to pump your goblins up. Artifact ramp rise, really simple because we're so low down on the mana curve here, as you can see. Just Tantalite and Talisman. I haven't gone with anything else. I couldn't see the point. But we do have things that make a lot of mana when we get there. So, here we go. The thing that makes the most mana in our deck is going to be Brightstone Ritual. Once you get 3 or 4 goblins in play, 1 red mana to give you all that extra red mana really does make this deck tick very, very quickly. So hold this off if you can, unless you really do need to push for something else. Hold it off as long as possible until you get the goblins in play. The goblins are going to be really straightforward and things you've seen before. So Fanatical Firebrand, Foundry Street Denizen, Goblin Bushwhacker for the kicker to give everything haste. Impulsive Pilferer gives us a treasure token, so it gives us our first artifact we can sack to Krenko when it comes in. Legion Loyalist is just good fun, gives all our creatures first strike and trample, and can't be blocked by creature tokens. You do get around a lot of the creature tokens that are playing at the moment. Mog Fanatic, sack and ping. Raging Goblin's got haste. Skirk Prospector, if you want to get rid of some of your goblins, you can sack them off to get even more mana. Tin Street Dodger, so it can't be blocked by creatures except with defenders, so you still get that 1 point of damage through every so often. And Elixir of Immortality. Your goblins are going to die very rapidly. We need to make sure we can get them back into our library to draw again. Elixir of Immortality does that and plays an important part in this deck for once. Battlecry Goblin pumps all our goblins up and gives them haste, and when we attack with creatures with total power 6 or greater, we get an extra attacking goblin, so that's cool. Dockside Extortionist is a goblin. It gives us treasure tokens. We like treasure tokens to sacrifice to Krenko. Yay. Dragon Fodder, just a couple of token ones. Enterprising Scallywag from the Lost Caverns of Ixalan. If you descended this turn, create a treasure token. Another way of getting things to go. Especially when we're playing all our sacklands. It's really nice to hold off and do it that way. Where are we? Sorry, that was there. Goblin Instigator, 2 mana for 2/1/1s. That's fine. Goblin Caboonist. This is here because at the beginning of our upkeep it creates an artifact called the Landmine, and it just says sacrifice an artifact. So, automatic artifact generation is a good thing to have in this deck. Goblin Oriflame, Gives all our attacking goblins +1/+0 when they attack. Goro, disciple of Rushi. Yeah. Creatures you control gain haste. That's nice. Create a 5/5 dragon spirit creature token with flying. Activate only if you control an attacking creature, attacking modified creature. And I've just realised something here, which I'm going to put in. If I can spell it right. No. Shrine to Nyx. Let's do it that way. There we go. I've just realised I haven't put Nykthos in here. Take a mountain out, play Nykthos. We got so much red mana, my brain just clicks into gear when I saw that one. So there you go. Instant change in the video. Anyway, impact tremors. Yeah, getting a lot of goblins coming away is one way of getting damage through. Krenko's command gives you more goblins. Goblin War Driver gives everything battle cry when it attacks, and Wily Goblin enters the battlefield with a treasure token ready to sack to this. Metallic Mimic gives us all the modified creatures as they come in, and yeah, becomes a goblin itself. And Pillar of Origins is a little bit of ramp, but it's one I did need to talk about. You do need to name goblins with this when it comes into play, so yeah, can be a little bit like our Arcane Signet, I suppose, in this deck. Anyway, 3 drops. Breaches, Eager Pillager. Yeah, there's definitely one other pirate in the deck, so you get treasure tokens that way, so that's cool. The Case of the Crimson Pulse, I really do like. You have no cards in hand, which is something that will happen with this deck quite happily. And at the beginning of your upkeep, discard your hand, then draw 2. Hopefully you'll have an empty hand by the time you've solved it, and you'll be able to do this quite happily every turn. Spy Master, at the beginning of each opponent's end step, that player creates a goblin creature token when creatures you control attack each turn, each combat if able. Does get things a little bit open for you. You can block with some of your lesser goblins. Goblin War Drums gives all our creatures menace. Pump through. And the other version of Krenko, when he was the Tin Street Kingpin, instead of being the Baron, yeah, he creates lots of goblins for us. Pashlik Mons also does the same thing. We get to ping things when our goblins die and sacrifice a goblin to create a couple of goblin tokens. Nice. Bushwhacker, the other one that lets you do the whole surge thing. Give all your goblins haste and +1/+0. Redcap Thief comes into play with the treasure token sacrifice. Relic Robber hands out the 0/1 colourless goblin construct artifact tokens to your opponents that ping them. So, yeah, okay then. Shared Animosity. People panic when they see this card in a goblin deck. You will probably, as soon as you play this, unless you can win there and then, you will be a target for the next few turns. Bear that in mind. We've got a few versions of Squeak. So the Dubious Monarch's here to give us some more attacking goblins when it comes into play. We can bring the other Squeak back from our graveyard to our hands. We always have a repeatable blocker for anything that's not got trample and is on the ground. Togo gives us artifacts we can sacrifice when we drop a land. Tuk the Explorer. Technically, we can sacrifice the 5/5 legendary colourless goblin golem artifact creature, but do you want to? Probably not. Goblin Chieftain, haste and +1/+1 to all our goblins and give them haste. Goblin King gives them +1/+1 and Mountain Walk. Goblin War Chief makes all the goblin spells cost 1 less and gives all our goblins haste. Hordling Outburst just gives us 3/1/1 goblins as we go through things. Herald's Horn will probably give you an extra card draw every turn. And Urza's Incubator really does make our goblins even more cheap. File drops. Goblin Trap Runner. Whenever it attacks, flip 3 coins. Sorry for the background noise for that part of the video, because that's my phone going off. So pause, take the call, come back. Anyway, Goblin Trap Runner. Flip a coin. You create 1/1 red goblin creature token that's tapped and attacking. For each flip, we win. That's quite nice. Nice little way of getting extra tokens in play. Yeah, the other card that probably make you an instant target is Porphyros. Yeah. Every creature comes into play deals 2 damage to everybody. It's a cheesy way to win, but we do need some way of winning because goblins are great, but they're not that great. Beetleback Chieftain comes into play with the equivalent 4 mana for 4 power across 3 creatures, which is nice. The Mob Boss, the other version of Krenko, is here as well. Yeah, he goes through the stages, doesn't he? Mob Boss here, going back over to the Tin Street Kingpin here, and then to the Baron of Tin Street. He's had a lot of changes over the years. But this one's nice, especially if you give them haste and get a whole load of extra goblin creature tokens. Again, with Perforos, these two do make you a target. Be aware. Visions of Phyrexia is just something I'm playing for a bit of fun. I wanted to play something that gave me some of the way of getting artifacts, and this gives me Power Stone tokens that I'm not going to use anywhere else apart to sacrifice to this version of Krenko. And Roaming Throne. Choose a goblin creature type. Whenever another creature you control of the chosen type triggers, it triggers an additional time. Yeah, okay then. But Roaming Throne is going to turn up in a lot, and I mean a lot of tribal decks going forward. Not just mine, but everyone else's as well. Stolen Strategy, you get to exile the top card of your opponent's library. Until the end of turn, you may cast spells from among those exiled cards and spend the mana that way. So, you know, they may have big stuff which lets you go and nick it. Rousing Refrain just gives you extra mana. You suspend it as soon as possible and just keep hitting the button, well, mana pump every 3 turns. Savage Beating is just an extra combat step if we need to. And we do need to, we can entwine it, so it gets expensive at 7 mana to entwine it. But, you know, given everything double strike and then having an additional combat phase could win you the turn. Especially with Vanquish's Banner in play, pumping all your goblins up. And every time you cast a goblin, you draw another card. Mirror March gives you all sorts of fun, especially with some of the things that create extra goblins when they come into play. Especially if you can win a few Philips, that's always good fun. Wallstorm Surge, just another way of dealing damage. Into the battlefield, it deals damage equal to its power to any target. So when creatures come into play, mainly it's going to be like 1. Occasionally you might get lucky and get a 2, or, you know, get a 3. But 9 times out of 10 it's going to be 1. But hey, damage adds up and you've got to get your damage in somehow in a goblin deck. This is one way to do it. Obelisk of Urd comes into play. Creatures you chosen type get +2/+2. So, yep, we'll go with that. Thank you. We can convoke this into play, which is even nicer. Brass's Bounty eventually gives us a whole load of artifacts. Hopefully we can sacrifice to Krenko. But the last card, just for some serious fun and games. Well, we'll do the last before we get to it. Blasphemous Act. Gives a bit of board control and Goblin Offensive. 3 mana, then X for as many Goblin tokens as you can turn X into. But the card that I am having some fun with in this deck is Warp World. Oh, this is good fun. If you've got a whole load of treasure tokens, don't sacrifice them for this. Use them as extra things to do, because they do count, because they are permanents. They do get shuffled in, which does give MTGO sometimes a little bit of a I'm going to crash, but not always. And then you get to have all this stuff come into play, and it's just fun, and it's great fun. So bear it in mind. You can drop this. You can put something more sensible in if you want to. If you want to play it's like 36 lands, you can drop this. But I want to play Warp World because I haven't played it for ages. And that's it. That's my take on Krenko. Oh, hello. Where's my picture of Krenko? Hold on a second. Boom, boom. There we go. There's Krenko back. I enjoy Krenko. I think it's fun. I think it's just a silly deck that's going to be a good fun to play. Like I say, it's not the most powerful deck in the world. I'm sure if you really went for it, you could make it extremely powerful and become unpopular. But I kept it something fun, a bit of tribal fun that I can play on the stream occasionally. As I said in the video, stream links down below. Hope you've subscribed over here. And yeah, I'll be back very soon with some more deck techs. Tomorrow's video is going to be a replay of a stream I did like this week, which I really enjoyed. So if you've got 4 hours to spare, you want to watch it, feel free. You can see all the fun and games I had on stream last weekend. But for now, take care, and I'll see you very soon with some more deck techs. See you soon. Bye.